Women can be so catty. Have you noticed how we've always got something to say about the way that she dresses, how much money she spends, or how could she do that to that guy? Well, ladies, the other woman is making headlines. That's DKW for today. Stay tuned. Welcome, ladies, to today's show. And if you missed the intro, today we are talking about the other woman. Maybe she's the woman that stole your man, I don't know. But, you know, there's something interesting about women. We always want to look at others, criticize them sometimes, put them down, very rarely to admire them. Anyway, we're going to be asking why today. And I've got my lovely friends here. I've got Sam, Shireen and Maria. Hi, ladies.
Hello. Hi there, Jem.
Ladies, I want to ask you a question. Why do we love to hate other women? Sam?
What can I say? I think it's just something that is embedded within us. You know, we do look at other women. I mean, I think it's just a natural thing. You look at that woman's hairstyle, you look at the way that woman's dressed, you look at the way, you know, how she's groomed, if she's unkempt, you look at her character. Do you know what I mean? And us women, we do comment on everything. You know, oh God, she was so rude. Oh God, look how she walks. Women do these things.
It's so true.
I've had my times when I've hated on women. Yeah. And I've had times when women have hated on me. So,
Shireen, you're laughing there in the corner.
I wouldn't really know what it is to hate on a woman, I'm afraid. Because I only see women with good eyes, I'm afraid. So,
goody two shoes over there.
Yeah. No, I'm only joking. I think what it is, I think what we tend to do with women is we judge them according to what we would do. So if they don't do what we would do, then we've got issues.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so unfair, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so. That's so true, actually. I agree with that. Maria, what do you think?
I don't really have much to go by after the two of them.
Have you been hated on, though? That's what I want to ask. Have you been hated on by another woman?
I don't know, but I was always getting this problem when I was a bit younger, where I would be walking on the street and somebody would be giving me a dirty look. A woman would be giving me a dirty look, and I used to think, why?
It's because of your beautiful hair.
But could be. That's been in your mind.
No. That's definitely no. I know a dirty look sign when I see one.
All right, ladies. Well, today we are putting the claws away, and we're actually going to look at other women and find out what can we learn from them. But before we do that, we love a good news story. So Shireen, hit us with some news.
All right, so first of all, I've got a question for you guys, right? If you had a choice between earning money, like earning much more money than what you've got now, or being thin, what would you choose? Or being thin. You know, that beautiful body type, model type that you've always wanted to be, but it just, you know, you just can't.
So the choice of money?
Of money, or that fantastic thin body.
I'll take the money, because I'm quite happy with myself.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right.
Give me the money.
Give you the money? What about you?
Definitely the money. I mean, with the money, I could do all sorts.
Yeah, that was my thinking too. Gemma, what about you, Miss Skinny over there?
Yeah, right. I wanted to say being thin just to be different, but I would take the money because my thinking is this. If I've got the money, then I probably wouldn't have to work. Then I'd have time to work out. Or you could pay for liposuction.
Very true. Very true. However, we are so different to what the Daily Mail is saying, because apparently British women in Daily Mail admit that they would rather be thin than earn more money. 35% of working women in the UK said they'd rather lose a stone than be given an £1,000 salary in Paris.
No, I agree then. No, I didn't know. I agree with those.
Gemma takes it back.
Do you know why? Because a £1,000 salary increase is not a lot.
No, it's not a lot.
I think it's, is that a year or a month?
Yeah, a year, because if it's your salary, because I know that at my last company, every year we got £1,000 or so salary. And when you think about inflation, if you think about the price of food, if you think about everything that goes up, your house living, everything goes up. with inflation, and then you get that increase just to help you get by.
But don't you?
If it was £1,000 extra every month, now you're talking. Do you know what I mean?
But I just want to. I just find this quite interesting, guys, because these women have said they would rather be thin, and that says a lot about society today and how people view the thinner ladies.
Yeah.
It's like you know, being a bit curvy or a bit bigger is not the way forward. That's basically what they're saying. I would prefer to be that stick thin person.
Oh, I wouldn't want to be that stick thin person. No. Absolutely
but
not.
But why do you think these women are thinking like this? You like your curves, so you're one in the your rare jewel.
My husband, like, I've had times when I've wanted to be thin, and my husband said, "No, please don't lose it, don't lose it."
But you're lucky, Sam, because you're really tall as well. That's the thing.
I think that's
you've
what
got
it
the
is
height.
as well.
When you're all 5'2", like I am, it's like, you know, when you put on weight, do you know what I mean? Then you can see it.
Yeah, because to be honest with you, from my young age to now, I'm touching my 40 now, but there's a big difference in my weight size.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But still, I can actually say that I'm happy with myself.
Is it?
You know, you do feel different. You feel heavy and things. But if it's a chance of taking the money, give me the money.
Give her the money. All right. Well, sadly, there was a. Did you hear about Sarah Houston, the medical student? Okay. She bought this pill online, and she died. Basically, she bought the pill so that she could be thinner. And she died taking that pill. That's just to show you this is something very, very serious. This is something that people are going through. The weight, I mean, we're laughing and joking, you're saying, Sam, you're lovely, you're happy with your body type. But there are many women out there that are not happy with their body type and would, as according to this survey, would swap all the money to be thin. And that is really quite serious because a lot of women are not happy with the way they are.
Definitely. And I can relate to that. True. I've taken diet pills that I've bought on the internet. You know, and I took them.
Revelations!
Yeah. I took them. I think they're called. What were they called again? I can't remember. But they
don't say, please.
Awful. But the thing is, Gemma, did that work?
No, it didn't. Well, it didn't work for me. It didn't work for me. I think I went to the toilet more, but obviously going to the toilet is not making me lose weight.
Detox, isn't it? Get rid of all the.
But still, I was still. No, it didn't get rid of the fat. It got rid of the food, but I didn't lose any weight.
Oh dear!
It was a waste of my money. Don't buy diet pills online. Yeah, and that's the thing, is she died. But I know that desperation of wanting to be thin, because at the end of the day, Shireen, you're conditioned. Like, everyone around you is really beautiful.
This is what it
you know, the magazines, the actresses, that's what you see every day. For a woman, it's a lot of pressure to be beautiful.
No, definitely, I completely agree.
And some women tend to think that, you know, on the opposite side of the sex is not going to attract to them because they're on the larger side, which is not so. It's not the truth. This is totally not true, because you're going to get some men that prefers larger women, some men that prefers very slim women. Do you know what I mean?
And also, it is very dangerous, isn't it?
No, it can be.
Yeah,
all right, let's
online.
move on from this then. Let's go to this. What do you think? Do you think that this was right or wrong? 40-year-old woman from Essex walks free from court after abandoning her 3 children aged 4, 6 and 12 to go clubbing. And this is the second time she has done this.
No, it's not acceptable.
What's your thought?
I say there should be a penalty for that.
Why is that?
Because if something had happened to the child, you know, it's possible. It's possible.
Well, many might argue that, she left them with the 12-year-old who was old enough to take care of the other 2 children. Is it because she's 40 years old that there's a problem? Maybe if she was a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, would there be an issue?
I mean, what is the law? What is the law for the oldest child to stay with the kids? It's not 12.
You've got to be an adult. You've got to be an
adult.
adult.
Do you have to be an adult? Is it not?
You have to be 16 plus.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, 12. You've got to be at least 16 plus. This child is 12.
That's a huge responsibility.
There's a huge risk factor.
I want to know why a 40-year-old is in the club anyway.
Now, this is the controversial point. This is the because, like I said, is it because she's 40-year-old that there's a problem, or is it if she was 20-year-old, will people understand it more?
Yeah, I mean, even if she was 20, if she was 30, if she was 60, I think it would still have the same kind of alarm bells.
Yeah, it's putting a lot of responsibility.
The fact is that the kids were left by themselves.
Yes.
So why she walked free, do you think?
Because the thing is, there's a lot of children in care as well. That's the thing. I don't know if this is the reason, but there are so many. Can we really cope with all of these children that are in care, and then for them to, go into foster homes homes and they grow up with all these terrible experiences and they become menaces to society. I'm not saying that all children that go into care become this way, but the statistics are there as well. So
and the thing is, Jen, it doesn't necessarily. She was irresponsible.
Yeah.
The second time, for the second time.
She was irresponsible twice, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she's a bad mother. She may have done that, but on her daily care of taking care of her kids, she may be a very, very good mother. So I wouldn't say for them to take the kids from her because of these irresponsible decisions that she made. But certainly there should be a penalty to say, okay, if you do this again, the risk you could have your kids taken from
and
her.
you know what, can I just say before we move on,
Yeah.
childcare in this country is so expensive, and that's another thing that we need to look at, because so many parents just cannot afford to get a babysitter. I'm not defending
So they can
her.
go out and have some fun. All right. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. We'll get really heated here. I couldn't let this one get away. There is a new reality show coming out called Pregnant and Dating. Wow, look at the spin-off from this one. The concept basically is to follow the lives of 5 single mums-to-be who are on the lookout for love. The tagline is something like, "Not even pregnancy will keep this woman out of the game." What do you say to this?
I hate this idea. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Why shouldn't the young mums have some fun?
Shireen, at the end of the day, if you're pregnant,
I believe in that.
you shouldn't be. I think it's just awful. I think it's just dreadful.
Well, I mean, is pregnancy a sin or
This is
something?
how I look at it. This is how I look at it. For example, we don't know the circumstances why this person, it doesn't mean because she's irresponsible that she's pregnant and became a single mother. Maybe she thought everything was going to go well and this person left her, went off with somebody else. It's possible. Now, for example, she wants to continue her life, and if she meets somebody who's willing to take her on with her child, and that means that she's going to date him, you know, this could be someone who's going to marry her, take her on with the child, I would say go for it.
The thing is, right, the baby's still inside. She needs time to adapt to being a mother, like to learn how to be a mother and so on. You know, maybe she should ask herself why the relationship broke down in the first place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you know, if she's still pregnant, that means it's only been a few months since she had that last relationship, or maybe even a few weeks. Is she ready for a relationship? What I'm worried about is that this woman is going off on the rebound trying to find somebody while she's pregnant.
Well, maybe
In an environment where there's probably like cigarettes and alcohol and all that stuff.
Ooh,
do you know what I mean?
that's a
May
real
not be.
big,
Maybe it could be a restaurant, could be something nice. Doesn't have to be dating in a club.
I think it's a really massive
Gemma wants to take this
Gemma.
beautiful pregnant woman who's fancied her from she was in school.
It's true. It could
And
be
it
a rich
just-
bachelor.
Yeah, but she's not going to find him on the
She
show.
just happens to have got
know?
pregnant, and the person who she thought was going to be her future husband has left her. Now, this man who's had a crush on her all her life has decided, you know what, I'll take care of you.
Yeah, but he can meet her at the park. He's not going to meet her on this reality show.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, is it a reality show?
reality
Sorry, I lost the plot.
It's all right, my love. We were both on the same line until that point.
Sometimes I lose it on this show, but they always keep me in line. Come on,
Well,
girls.
I've had some comments about it already, and some people are backing Gemma's view. It's if they're saying this, anonymous. If you can't wait 9 months to focus on delivering a healthy baby and not waste time looking for a man, all while being knocked up by the next man, then something is wrong.
Oh, wow.
All right. Another one said, I personally find something wrong with it. The mother should be focusing on herself. Gemma, you wrote this comment, didn't you?
Yeah, sent it in anonymously.
And not worrying about the next man. Well, that's what they're saying here. Well, what do you say, viewers? Please leave us your comments at dkw.me. Go on our Facebook page, A Different Kind of Woman, and let us know your thoughts, please.
Fantastic. Well,
spicy.
we're going to go for a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about 10 women who are no strangers to headlines. Can you guess who they are? Back soon. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about all the news, but now we are going to the influential women, and I believe Shireen has got the first one. Go ahead, Shireen.
And it's our First Lady, Michelle Obama. Like it or not, the First Lady knows how to make headlines. She's got a lot of stick for appearing at the Oscars earlier. You know, did you hear about that? Well, she got a lot of stick for it. I don't know why. But apparently there was a lot of hateful tweets. Yeah, a lot of hateful tweets about her appearance.
Really?
And mixing politics with Hollywood.
The thing is,
they were
because you don't
saying.
really get a first lady who is going to be like, you know, going to an Oscar Awards ceremony, really. It seems, you know, to some people that she may be using her status in the White House to get
a bit of fame.
Yeah.
Did she go on her own?
She's got a lot of fame anyway, but yeah,
Did she go on her own, Jem?
I don't know, you know, to be honest. But I think people are thinking, hold on, are you trying to be more of a celebrity rather than
because
a
I'm thinking,
politician's wife?
why would you be at an Oscar show not even with your husband as a first lady?
Well, he's probably busy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you turn up at an Oscar show on
it's
your
all
own.
right. I mean,
Well,
what else
she
did
has
do?
done quite a few things alone.
Yeah, she has done quite a few good things as well. I was
Yeah.
watching the Academy Awards, and I think it's quite nice to have the First Lady get involved in these kind of things, to be honest with you. Because she read out, at the Academy Awards, she read out the best movie. She was, and I thought, and of course it was Argo, Ben Affleck. If you saw his face, he was so like elated that the First Lady would be the one that would read out the nomination. I thought that was so touching that she did that personally. I think, my God, she would never forget it. And even me watching it, I was like, wow, this is really giving credibility to this award show that happens every year. So I think it's a nice thing.
I think there should be a definite line between that kind of politics and movies, and you know.
She was probably having a night out with the girls while the husband is busy.
What the hell?
Why not?
Go for it. Yeah, Michelle, at the end of the day, she is the First Lady.
She's the First Lady.
And there's a lot to be admired for that. And,
I love her dress sense.
I love her dress sense. I love the way she does her hair, which is natural, by the way.
That's influential in
She
itself.
does wear false lashes sometimes.
Oh, Sam.
Natural hair, though. Natural hair, Sam. Let's not go there. You know, natural hair already.
She has got natural
Hair on the head.
She's done really well with that.
She's
Notice
lovely.
the
She's
eyelashes.
lovely. She's
But you
lovely.
know, do you remember when Barack Obama was reinstated? He actually said, I could not have done this if it wasn't for my wife.
Yeah, indeed.
To the
And he's
whole,
a classic.
to everybody, like imagine.
And you know, there's
says it
always a
publicly.
strong woman behind every successful man, don't we?
You know, it's one thing for you to hear those words, another thing to see it live. And she's one of those people that give that a wonderful example that it really is her behind him, and it inspires other women,
does,
other wives as
without
well.
a
So I think
doubt.
she's, you know, there's a lot we can learn from her.
Definitely, and you know what I like about her is that she has some substance. So yes, she dresses really well, which
Elegant,
is fine.
very
really
elegant.
but she's educated.
Yes.
Isn't
She's
she?
educated. She can hold a conversation by herself. She knows about politics. She knows what her husband is doing. She's not dumb. She's not dumb, and that's admirable because she's also a mother, she's a wife, she's got many roles, and it shows women that yes, you can fulfill many different roles. So I think she is influential in that way.
Yes.
I love
Definitely
the
a
way
role model.
Gemma just really described it with so much passion. So much passion there, Gemma. I love it. I love it.
Definite role model. Definite role model.
And she
Yes.
campaigns against child obesity a lot, which also is a really good thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
fantastic.
I think she's
Putting
doing
this
well.
to the-
I
yeah.
really think she's doing well too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Maria, you've got the second one. Who have you got?
Well, okay. Well, I have Princess Diana.
Princess Diana.
Princess Diana.
Diana.
She was
The late Princess
such
Diana.
a wonderful role model. I really think she was. Well, I don't know anyone who doesn't like Princess Diana.
No, I like her.
But can you hear a but coming?
Don't you dare, Gemma.
Beautiful, you know, all the respect. What do they call her? The Queen of Hearts.
Yeah, indeed.
So do you think she was the Queen of Hearts, Gemma?
I think she was because
she was.
when she died, I remember stopping everything to watch her funeral.
exactly.
And, you know, it's one of those things, you know, I felt so sad. I could not believe it. I'll never forget that day, waking up, Princess Diana's dead.
And she was so
I'll never forget it.
genuine.
She was genuine.
The charity work that she produced
Yeah.
was very genuine.
Well,
I
like
love the
walking
way she
among
dressed.
minds.
Actually, she had her dress sense was really,
Spot on.
really
She
yes.
had a lot of poise.
Yeah, and she was very down to earth. She
Yeah.
was such a down to earth
She was
person.
down to earth to the end,
She
wasn't
was
she?
absolutely.
She was.
Yes.
Well,
I'm
this is
talking
what I
about
want
the
to
night
touch
down
on.
to earth to the end.
Yeah, because the thing is, she was down to earth. She was one of the first royals to sort of come out of Buckingham Palace and
Exactly,
actually
my
go
point.
be among the commoners, if you like.
right.
Other than Fergie, of
And-
course. Other than Fergie, yeah, well, Fergie, that's a different story. But the thing is about Di is that also. The thing about her is she did, many misdemeanors as well. Do you know
Yes.
what I mean?
Because
Like
the
with
thing is,
Dodi
Jem,
Al-Fayed.
we're not perfect, us
No.
women.
Well, what was wrong?
She
It
did
doesn't
make
matter
some
how high
mistakes.
is your rank.
That's true, but what was wrong with Dodie? What happened? What did she do that
Wasn't
was
he
so
sucking
wrong?
her toes on the beach? I mean,
So?
you're royal. So
So she was
you are
she was a royal that was more or less you know, dumped to the side
She
by
was
her husband.
Very
What
true,
did she do? But be on her own.
I think she was still married at that point, and you're a mother of 2 young sons. One son who's going to be the king one day. It's like,
do you know
we're
what,
not going to talk
Gemma?
about
Do you
Charles
know
on
what,
this show.
Gemma? She was such a role model when it came to her children.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
She was a great, Princess Diana was a great role model when it came to her children. That
The
I
only
have to
thing is
say.
that people will argue Gemma's point, and they will also argue about her playing up to the cameras, because
Yeah.
a lot of people did say that about her as well. And sometimes women, we can do that. We can play up to publicity when we want to,
Definitely,
and that's something that I think we should
Okay.
be very careful about.
Yeah. One thing that I can learn from her is that she broke the mold. I think, you know, I never forget that. Was it Panorama, the interview? Well, there were 3 people in this
I
marriage.
loved it.
You know, it was like,
yes.
you know, she gave us an insight into the royal family, and I think she sort of broke away from that, saying, yes, I'm not perfect, I do make mistakes, because you kind of do have them on a pedestal.
Yeah.
You know, I think that was the good thing about Diana, and you couldn't help but love her, but she did make a few mistakes. I think that maybe she could have even been a risk to the royal family at times.
Well, we all make mistakes,
Dare I say.
but we have our good points, don't we?
Well, let me stop you there, because I have someone, a woman who I'm actually a fan of her amazing voice. And I have Whitney Houston, who unfortunately,
lovely.
with a long spanning career, ended up with a tragic decline of death.
Yeah, she looks beautiful on that picture.
Yeah, it's you know, I actually really loved Whitney Houston. I still play her music to this day. I really love her.
Don't make me cry.
Yeah.
Oh, go,
I mean,
Shireen, go,
I could hear the
go.
glass breaking here in this studio.
Don't hate, Gemma. Don't hate.
But
don't hate.
it's such a
hate,
tragic though, the way she
No,
died.
it is.
Oh, it was
To
terrible.
end her last days
Very
in the
sad.
way that she did, it almost broke my heart, to be
Yes.
honest.
Sad.
To see someone who I respected so much. And with Whitney Houston, she reminds me a lot of myself, Gemby. Why? Because she was a woman came from such a wonderful background,
Yeah.
and then ended up making the wrong decision of
In love life.
in her love life, going out with the wrong person that had such an influence on her life.
Yeah, indeed.
Yes,
Look,
yeah.
you know, every time I look at Whitney Houston's, you know, the first like not the movies, the songs, the videos.
Yes.
You look at her and you're just like, oh wow, amazing. She had a good background, and this woman, she just oozed with elegance. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything about her was elegant,
was
elegant,
talented.
yes.
She
Amazing.
was strong. You know, I'm Every Woman. When you
Yeah.
watch her video, just like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
every, and you
Good
felt
singer
it.
and a good actress, which
Good
many
singer,
many
good
can't
actress.
do.
Yes.
But when she sang, you felt
Bodyguard.
it because
Yeah.
it was more than
Yes.
just song. You know, like
Yeah.
nowadays we have singers that just sing songs.
Yeah.
And you can have it, but with her, you felt it. It was
It's
like
a
she was
soundtrack
singing.
to many people's
That's
lives.
right.
Indeed.
Exactly.
But
When
then
You
she
could
again,
sang,
Shireen,
relate
it was
to
all
it.
the outside, wasn't it? It
Yeah.
was everything was what she was showing outside. But inside.
But even with her songs, she
Yes.
sang a lot of reality songs,
Passionate,
which was a lot of
yes.
what she
Yes.
was actually experiencing throughout her life,
Yeah.
which is why women like myself could relate to her songs.
Yeah, but it just shows how important relationships are and getting involved with the right person.
Exactly.
Because, you know, I think when she got with Bobby, he wasn't as, I don't know, he was a little bit of a strange
successful,
character. He
yeah.
wasn't as successful. Then you sort of started to see her decline. And that's
Yeah.
why it's so important to take care of our love lives. And actually,
Very
next
true.
week's show is about finding Mr. Right, so you can't mix next week's show.
Well, you know, this is something that we can learn from. We can actually learn from Whitney Houston what not to do ourselves.
Yeah.
You know how it's so important not to just go with the crowd and
Yeah.
just pick someone just for the sake of it, but to really dig deep about the person who you're going to choose to spend the rest of your life
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
You know, the influence and the impact that it can have on you. And I know that, Jem. I really do know that
Yeah.
because I went
You've gone
through that.
that, yeah.
And it had such a awful effect on my life that, you know, thankfully I'm here today to be able to tell the tale.
Yeah.
But I
Yes.
could have taken the worst. I could have ended up on drugs like her.
Yeah.
I could have ended up dead the same way like her.
Yeah.
Oh, unfortunately, she did not have the strength to overcome.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
I just want to say to
right,
anyone watching at
yes.
home, if you feel like you are in a downward spiral, we want to be here for you, because I think having a support network is very important, because there were times where she tried to sort of get back on her feet, even after she'd, you know, had many like drug overdoses and all that. And she tried to get back on her feet, but she always kept slipping back. So it's important to have a network. So if there is anyone out there who's going through something similar, maybe can even relate to Sam, then I want you to contact us, comments at dkw.me. Before you go on, Sam, we cannot end this piece without talking about Miss Maggie Thatcher herself, the Iron Lady. We cannot talk about influential women without mentioning her. Ladies, what are you... Shireen is like literally shrugging her shoulders. She's not going to say anything. Shireen, what have you got to say?
I think I said everything last week on the show, Gemma, when you weren't here, and I was free to talk.
Free to talk, and you're free
you can
to
watch
talk
it
again.
The late
you
Margaret
can watch
Thatcher.
it. The late Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady herself, not for turning.
She's fantastic. What's the
Gemma
problem
loves
with her?
her.
I think she's great.
She did have her good points, Shireen. I mean, she opened the doors for even a lot of ethnic minorities to actually buy their own homes.
Yes.
Which was, I mean, a lot of people can stand up. Maybe she didn't do anything else for them, but they have their home today because of that decision that she made.
Yeah,
Well,
well, we
she-
did talk a lot about her last week, though.
we
There was
did,
a lot of
yeah.
discussion.
Well, imagine
And,
she was
you know,
the
it
first
was-
and only British Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Yes.
Female.
Female.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's good.
What have you got to say, Maria? You can remember a lot of
I don't really, because I mean, it was
Thatcherism.
well, I don't remember. I really was not in politics at that time.
Yeah.
But I mean, my argument was, you know, that £10 million funeral that everybody went to, and the public didn't even get a day off.
Taxpayers' money.
Yeah, taxpayers' money, and we didn't even get
And we
a day
weren't
off.
even invited,
You know,
Maria.
yeah.
We thought we
she?
was going to get a DKW invitation.
Yeah, exactly. But you know,
That's been lost in the post.
Yeah.
But the thing is, guys, like, you know, all jokes aside, well, can this woman be known for anything good or anything bad? What do you learn from her?
She was a strong woman, a very strong, determined woman. And it's sad because I grew up only hearing bad things about her, like I said on the show last week. But when I did watch her movie, The Iron Lady, the movie, I did see her in a different light, that she was strong. She had to be very strong to stand up against all those guys.
All the men, exactly.
But they were actually afraid of her in the end. And I think that's not really the message you really want to put across, is that you don't want to be so this. And that's something we can learn. You can be bold and confident as a woman, but I don't think you should make people afraid of you. And that's the thing. I think it went a step too far. I think she took her power too far, even to the point where she wasn't willing to listen to people underneath her. And as women, we have to be careful that we are not so authoritarian, you know what I mean? Put our foot down and I'm not for turning. And you're not listening to the people in your family who care and love you. And that's what happens with her. She just made decisions and she just was not listening to the public, them suffering, you know, and even to the point that we still
that in
have
itself is
negative
something to learn,
connotations.
isn't it?
That's the thing. You have to have a balance. I think she was too right wing,
Yeah.
and that's something that we have to be careful as women, that we're not too onto one side. We need to have a balance.
you could never get a smile out of Maggie.
What, a
I
smile?
mean, Maggie was like, Maggie
She was
was
the Iron
Maggie.
Lady.
There was no smile. She was, I think everyone looked.
That's why they gave her that
The
name, Iron.
Yeah, the Iron Lady. Yeah.
And women are not like that. We have a soft side, but we didn't seem to see it ever. Only in that movie did I see a bit of a softness with her husband. You know what I mean?
Their
and it was
family,
really,
their
their
children.
family,
She
their
did.
children. But they're the only ones that saw it. So someone of a public figure, it would have been nice to have seen more of her softer side.
But
I think.
sometimes when you're in such a position like that, and she had a really tough job ahead of her.
Exactly.
You know, she was trying to save this country from a terrible recession.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think that if
right.
she wasn't in power, then I don't know if this country would have the standing that it does now, it does today. So we can admire her in terms of like the lady is not for turning. I actually admire that about her, because although I agree with what you said, we must listen and so on, she was literally like, I don't care what you can do. You can strike, you can do whatever. The lady is not for turning. And to have that, to sort of stand up and say, do you know what, no matter what happens, I'm going to stick to my vision, stick to my goal. I think that takes some sort of resilience.
And I think also even for women, you know, it's strong to show that, you know, women, how much that a woman can achieve.
And that's the
fantastic.
scary
You know what I mean?
thing.
Because once upon a time, women couldn't vote.
Yeah.
Imagine. Let alone
And then
having
she was
some-
at 10 Downing Street.
Exactly.
I think in a way,
That's
So it
after
just shows that there's nothing impossible that women cannot achieve.
It's
So true.
true. But
after Margaret Thatcher, I think women actually did come out a bit you know, after seeing her character, what she
It opened
she
the
showed,
doors for
it
many
did.
other
That
women.
it did, yes. I think it made
So
a
I
lot of
agree with
women
you
come
there,
out a
Maria.
lot more.
Yeah, that's true, but I wonder if the public would ever vote another woman back in power now.
Oh, well,
I think
no,
it's possible.
no, I don't.
I think it's possible.
I don't.
No, definitely.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
they
think it's
would,
possible.
yeah.
No, I don't.
think
Well,
so.
I think we're going to have to agree to disagree. Let's go to a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about some more other women. Back soon. Welcome back, ladies. We are going through the list of our very own influential women. If you want to comment, then you can leave a comment on our Facebook page, A Different Kind of Woman. Shireen, I believe you've got the next one.
I do, and it's Cristiane Cardoso. For those who don't know who she is a writer. She's also joined her husband, I think it's every single day, for the Love School, which she does internationally. It's a program that goes internationally on TV. She has done she's also a mentor of many women.
Author.
She's an author of the V Woman book and Better Than New Pair of Shoes, which I love. She's really, really come a long way, and there are many things that we can learn from this lady because people that know her, and even when reading her book, she talks about how shy she is as a person, naturally shy. But when you see her speak with such confidence, you would never believe that how shy this
And
woman
how
is.
much of an inspiration she is to other women.
She's a mother. She's one of those multitaskers, and you look at her life and you think, do you know what? If she can do it, I can do it, and that's what I love about her.
Yes.
The good thing about her is I knew her when I was quite young, in my teens, and I always knew of her as someone who would go bright red whenever she was called to the front to speak. She couldn't speak in a big crowd, and I remember being in one of her meetings and thinking, oh, actually she does have something quite good to say. So now when you read her books or her blog posts and so on, and she talks about that shyness, it's amazing to see how she's been able to overcome that, because so many women, they know themselves for being shy or for being too timid, or they just say, oh no, I can't do that, and they just won't. They'll spend their whole life not doing it, but she spends her life saying, okay, I couldn't do that, but I'm going to go against it, which is admirable.
She's an inspiration. She is, for me, she's
invested
such an
in herself,
inspiration.
and that was the thing. You know, she built on her character. She recognised what her flaws was, and she didn't just settle for it. She literally worked always to improve herself.
You know,
Do you know what I
Sam,
mean?
that's very, very important when you just said about flaws, about recognising your flaws,
Yes.
because that is something that she did do, and it is important. Because
Exactly.
actually, I remember when I first met her, I used to see that she didn't really communicate much, and I would be very afraid to approach her, and that's something that you judge in women, that you can sense that woman is not so, and then you think that they've got an issue with you because they don't speak to you, and really it's because they've got their own issue, which she then later explains. She talks about how she was always in the shadow of her sister, so she always felt less, you know, less of the one in the spotlight, less able. But while she was going through all that issues, all I could look at her and see is that, oh my gosh, does she not like me? She doesn't even look at me. She doesn't say hello. That's what I used to say. And you start judging, not knowing this person is going through their issues, and that's what's so lovely about her, is that she's come out and she said, you know what, this is what I was going through.
But to
and
think
it's
now,
tough. I
Shireen,
faced my fears.
Now we are learning from her.
Indeed.
I've been reading the V Woman book.
The
I
V
can't
Woman
put the
book
book
is
down. I
absolutely
can't put the book
amazing,
down.
this book.
But to think from this shy person who is now, you know, helping thousands and thousands of women all over the world, including myself, I have learned so much just by reading the book.
But well, actually,
Learned
the
so
convention, which was yesterday, amazing convention,
Wonderful.
amazing message,
Amazing.
you know, all inspired by
Fantastic.
this book,
Yes.
the V Woman
Exactly,
book,
the V Woman
you know,
book.
and it just shows that women all
Yes.
over the world, that they can change, that they can understand their value.
That's right.
Yeah, and I would
amazing.
advise every woman, if you don't have the book yet, get the V Woman book.
It's on our website, so you get
Yes.
it there, the V Woman.
Fantastic.
Who's next? I think you're next, Maria. Who's your influential woman that we need to learn from?
Well, well, let me shock you. I know she's fictional, but we cannot not have Janine Butcher. Look at her.
Now, if you don't know who Janine is, she's a character on EastEnders.
Well, she's an ultimate villain, Gemma.
She is.
But Janine, there's so much to learn from Janine.
What can you learn from her? Because
come
all I
on.
remember, I haven't watched EastEnders for quite a
The
while.
only
But
thing I would learn is not how
Janine?
not to be.
how not to be? Yeah, she's killed off her husbands. She's always trying to get money.
Yeah, okay, she does.
It's
She does all.
Janine is not for turning. Janine is not for turning.
Unless she's going to make some money out of it.
But Janine
Janine
goes for what she wants. Yeah, she gets it. I mean, it is fictional after all.
Yeah.
In real life, I doubt it if Janine is that way inclined. But it just shows you, if you want something, go for it.
At any cost?
Well, as long as you're not hurting anyone, you know, probably
No, hold on. Wait.
Don't go and do things the wrong way.
The thing is, the producers have put here some points, Maria, before you go on. She bumped off her husband for money, married an old guy for money. I remember that one. She prostituted herself. No, she prostituted her friend for money.
No,
She used her evilness to cover up her vulnerability. Hold on a minute. I don't know if you're talking.
I am talking without all what you've just read.
The thing is, Maria, this girl is a very
troubled soul,
evil woman.
So
we are not. We're trying to tell our people that not to be like Janine, not to have this characteristic at all.
But go for what you want in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
There is a good way to go and get what you want. I totally agree. Not Janine's way, no. But there is a good way to go about what you want.
It's true. It's true because you could say that she was a businesswoman if you like, but she does things in a crooked way. Yeah. And you know, at the end of the day, she's always unhappy. She's always miserable. So it just shows us that, you know, you can take the path where you can do things correctly and hopefully end up with happiness, or you can just follow her way. She's always miserable. She's always losing the money. Always have to marry an older guy to get more money. She's, you know, she killed Barry. Come on, she's terrible.
What, as you was talking, I was just thinking, she's like that because she doesn't give. She's very selfish. Yes. It's always about her. And women who are like that, women who are selfish, they'll never be happy because they don't know how to give. Even to her daughter, she doesn't know how to give. This is the problem. I know she's fictional, but there are many women like her, always thinking about me, take at all costs. And then, like you said, they end up unhappy.
Janine doesn't know how to get things in the proper way. I mean, like she does exactly. Yes.
Well, speaking of another lady, I've got Leanne Rimes here. So she's the country singer, recently known for stealing another woman's husband. Do you know Eddie Cibrian? Shireen will know this one.
He's on Sunset Beach.
Yes, Eddie, he was on the Sunset Beach. He's quite good looking. He's got the dimples and everything. But you know, allegedly she stole him from Brandy Glanville, which Brandy I know because I used to watch Real Housewives all the time. But what can we learn from her, ladies? Leanne Rimes.
Don't steal other married men. You don't steal.
And there's
just
a
don't
consequence if you do.
Indeed.
God blimey, ladies, you're full of thoughts, aren't you?
That's it, really. Like a bullet to your heart.
The thing about Leanne Rimes is that she was known for being a country singer, really good. She was known for her talent, and the unfortunate thing about her now is that she's known for stealing someone else's husband.
All you can remember.
Not for her talent.
That's right.
Not for her talent.
It's a shame.
That is a shame because she is actually pretty talented.
No, she is. She came up with that song "How Do I Live Without You" that was out. That was amazing. Do I live? Yeah, do you remember? And everyone loved her. It was like wow. But it's true. When you hear Leanne Rimes, that's all I remember. And that's
and they're thinking that they're probably going to, when they listen to that song now, they're going to think she's thinking of the person's husband. How can I live without you, somebody else's man?
It's true. It's sad.
It defeats the wonderful song that she made.
It just shows you about reputation. Reputation's so important. That's what we need to learn. Was it really worth falling, like completely destroying your name over this relationship?
Exactly. And now actually she says she regrets it. And I always think when someone steals someone else's guy, don't you think that one day he may just jump to the other tree again? Do you know what I mean?
No,
someone else.
You'll never be.
Was he still with his wife at the time?
Yeah,
she's a stunner. Like, she's beautiful. She's even more beautiful than Leanne. It just shows that looks. I don't know. I just don't know.
It shows that it's not all about looks, though. It means that she has something about her that caught his eye.
Right, ladies, we are racing to the end. I think Sam's got one more lady.
I have. The final lady that I have is Brandy. Do you remember Brandy? She shot up to fame at the age of 30.
Yeah, you don't really hear much about her now.
Sitcom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Brandy was fabulous. Moesha, she was in Moesha.
Yeah.
I remember her.
The boy is mine.
Brandy. The boy is mine. Oh my gosh, Brandy was fabulous.
You're really swinging today, aren't you?
Yeah,
all this
I know.
singing.
Back in the night, all these
Whitney
people in the 90s.
She was fantastic.
Yeah.
But what have you got to say about? What have you got to learn from her? I don't really hear about her that much.
What can you learn from her, really?
This is what happened, right? This is what is another
do you
thing about
think?
reputation.
I don't really know much.
Brandy was that good girl. She was coming out with all #1 tunes all the time. Then she got involved with an older guy, the guy from Boys to Men. Let me tell you all about it. You know that lead singer from Boys to Men? They went
the
together.
glasses one.
Yeah, the glasses one. But he was a big man in his 30s and she was in her teens. So it was it was an undercover relationship because obviously no one could, nothing could affect the good girl image. And then later she became pregnant.
Gosh,
without getting
married.
married.
I'm
So
telling
she
you,
was
I love
no
Brandy.
longer a squeaky clean
She was
young
not
girl.
squeaky clean.
She wasn't squeaky clean at all.
She was not squeaky clean, but she tried to keep the image going because of her fans and what people would think about her family.
Yeah.
And then she had a fake wedding to cover up her pregnancy.
Never.
Then it all came out on the Wendy Williams show when the other half went, and Wendy Williams just told the world that actually it's fake.
So then there
obviously,
came scandals.
Scandal.
One mistake to cover another.
And then, if that wasn't the worst of it for Brandy, she was involved in an accident where someone died.
Yeah, I heard about
attempted
that.
murder. Yeah, but it was, of course, manslaughter. It was she didn't mean to do
Allegedly,
it.
yeah, she didn't,
Yeah. So
like a
her
downward
life just
spiral.
went down. That's why you don't hear Brandy anymore.
And you don't hear nothing
Nothing
about
about
her.
anything
about
at
It just
all.
shows that. But you know what? It makes me think how many women are living a fake life.
Image.
It's not just Brandy.
Yeah.
People
Just
do it
her.
every single day. This is what we need to learn. It's like, hold on a minute. You can put up this facade, but it will never last.
Isn't it just better just to have been honest?
Yeah.
Just be, you guys are
Just
making
say
a
I fell in
mistake.
love with him, and people may have even honoured that relationship. Like, who cares what people think? If this is the one that you want to be with,
This is the thing, but you do care, and women, we do care.
We do care.
That's the thing, we pretend a lot.
It's true.
And that's something that we learn from this, that we pretend and then we suffer.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's why we like to be so open on this show, and that's what we do when we come on this show, isn't
exactly.
it?
Yeah, but
We
I
just
think with
open
Brandy,
ourselves.
it was her position as well, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
a lot to do with it. I mean,
Of
it
course
was
it
a lot to do
was.
with
The
her
family,
position,
the
everything else.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
well, ladies, we're coming to the end of our show. But I want to find out from each of you, what do you look out for in other women? What do you look for and say, you know what, that woman is influential and I want to follow her? Sam?
I mean, with women, I do like to look at women, and I do have many women who I do inspire because of the actions that they've taken towards life. What is the strength within them? And I have to be honest with you, women, that, Gemma, there is women that I will look at and say, absolutely no way would I, no way would I follow that example. Do you know what I mean? So what I do have a lot of friends who I admire because of how they are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm one who I do look at women.
Yeah.
And I do take a little bit from that one and a little bit from
All the
that
good
one
stuff,
and
yeah.
a little bit from that one. And then with the negatives, I will look at that and say, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. What about
I'm
you,
not going to do
Shireen?
that.
I think it's strength because, I admire women who are able to go against everything that's happening, the problems, the issues, the dramas, and rise above it and say, do you know what? We're going to still be a strong household like a mother.
Yeah.
Still going to be strong. This is not going to get us down. And that is something that you find rare in men. But women are able to hold so many different things, strong women.
So many
That's
roles.
so many roles. I think that the multitasking is so important, especially those women who rise above all kinds of dramas.
Yes.
You know, like the lady,
Experiences.
I love to hear about the story of the lady, Katie Piper, who had acid on her face, for example,
Yeah.
and she's still pioneering, still a strong woman. She's
Turned
not
that
like,
lemon into lemonade.
yeah, I love to see that in women because
Yeah.
I think that is a wonderful character because we're so emotional, we have
strength,
everything to
yeah.
break down. But those women that say, no, I'm not going to break down, I'm going to rise above and be stronger, I find that admiring in women.
What do you say, Maria?
Well, Shireen just kind of like quickly mentioned what I was going to change there while she was talking. Character. For me, it's definitely character because, especially for a women, for women, because you go, especially nowadays, you see a lot of women on the street and you think, oh my God, no, I definitely don't want to be doing that. I
Or look
definitely
like
don't want to be looking like her or even speaking the way she's speaking, I mean, I'm not going to even mention a word, but the vile words, everything, and there's no need for all that for a woman. I think a woman needs to be really, really. It's lovely to see a woman that is discreet.
Yeah.
Not shouting and screaming on the street, and with those horrible
vulgar
words.
man.
I always feel so
words, you
sad
know?
as well when I see women who is, you know, really damaging their temple, Jem. You know, they abuse themselves with drugs and alcohol and things like this, and you see themselves literally destroying themselves. And I feel so sad when I see this, because you look at that woman, you think, my God, you have so much potential. You can make so much of your life, but you're not looking after that temple. So
yeah. Well,
Very
ladies,
true, Sam.
unfortunately, we've come to the end of our show. But before we go, I'd like to leave the viewers with this thought. There are celebrities on the front covers of magazines and newspapers all the time. And a lot of the time, they make headlines for all the wrong reasons. But you know what? As women, we do have the power to influence, and we have the power, I should say, to be influenced. But what we need to do is we need to make sure that we take the responsibility upon ourselves to be the best version of ourselves. And maybe you don't know how, but why don't you start by looking at women just like Sam does and saying, you know what, she's good at this, I'm going to copy that. She's great at that, I'm going to be like that. Instead of bad-mouthing her, instead of criticising her, instead of hating her sometimes, just because she may be good at something that maybe you're not. So ladies, we are influenced all the time, we can't help it, but we can control who we will be influenced by. And that's DKW for today. We'll be back next week with a show on how to find the perfect guy. You cannot miss it. See you then.